What is the one movie you always recommend others? What We Do in the Shadows. We're werewolves, not swearwolves. Plus, the TV show is amazingly funny. Matt Berry is a treasure. My Cousin Vinny ETA. And if you like this one, watch Greedy, 1994, by the same director. Marissa Tomei. Less Than 3. The Truman Show. One of my absolute favorites. Really messed with my head for a day or two after watching. That movie made me paranoid for years. Made worse whenever someone talked about an experience that was just like mine. Absolutely convinced me I was being watched and I was the only one who didn't know it. I was like 11 to 12 when it came out. Emperor's New Groove, Spirited Away, that and Howl's Moving Castle. Top 2 faves TBH. Treasure Planet. It's a steampunk, space adaptation of Treasure Island, and it's an amazing movie. Part of the Disney Renaissance. 12 Angry Men. The Prestige. It's a pretty wild cat and mouse between Wolverine and Batman that keeps you switching who to root for. Don't forget Alfred and Black Widow. Hot Fuzz. I cannot believe I don't see it at the top. Incredible acting. Dry humor. Action that simultaneously parodies action movies and is fantastic in its own right. Genuine suspense. The first time through. And the impeccable pairing of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Shawshank Redemption edit. Wow. My most points and first award. Thanks Fuzzy Britches. Yeah, while this isn't actually my favorite movie, it is the one I think of as being the perfect film. You're perfectly written, perfectly acted, perfectly directed, and perfectly filmed. I've seen it many times, but have never been able to find anything to nitpick or that I would have done different. The Princess Bride. It's a classic, and if you haven't seen it you are missing out on one of the most quotable movies. The Matrix. It's how I would dial in my sound system, monsieur. You think that's bass you're hearing? Don't try to bend the bass. That is impossible. Instead only try to realize the truth. There is no bass. Then you'll realize it's not the bass that bends. It is only yourself. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Listen. Strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Supreme executive power derives from a mandate from the masses, not from some farcical aquatic ceremony. Airplane. I just wanted to say good luck, we're all counting on you. Shaun of the Dead. Howl's Moving Castle. Children of Men. Nothing like a dystopian potential near future where a pandemic has decimated the world as we know it. People are locked in detention camps. There's a police state happening, but you can still get coffee. Best in Show. I prefer This Is Spinal Tap, but I think Best in Show has broader appeal. The Iron Giant. You are who you choose to be. The Fifth Element. Blazing Saddles. Lord of the Rings. To me it feels like the best ever made movies. The whole trilogy I rate it number 1. The music is probably the best I ever heard in any movie. The acting is at its best. You could see fear in the eyes of orcs at Rohirrim Charge. By the way, that music there in the horn are just stray goosebumps. You could see fear in the eyes of orcs, and hope, and disappointment, without looking to close and wondering what emotion the actor is trying to portray. And yes, it should be director's cut, or I am going to pretend I never met that person. If you don't cry at that you bow to no one bit, then you're dead to me. A Fish Called Wanda. Kevin Kline won a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for this comedy playing an inept ex-CIA operative, with John Cleese, Michael Palin, and Jamie Lee Curtis. Also starring Tom Gergetsen as George Thomason. The Princess Bride edit. Thanks for the narwhals, kind strangers. Back to the Future, or if they haven't seen it also, Clue. The Blues Brothers. The Thing. I love that movie. The horror movie where the main characters aren't fucking stupid. Whiplash. Meh, that movie was not quite my tempo. Well, were you rushing or were you dragging? I'm not Russian. Must have been dragging. Pulp Fiction. Leon, the Professional. Hey folks. Be careful answering this question. please. What's your favorite movie? Is a common security question for identifying yourself, e.g. when recovering an account password. Posting information such as this openly is commonly used by malicious people to hijack accounts. Remember a few years ago when you were encouraged to post your porn name, which you constructed with the formula, first pet's name, and street you grew up on? Yeah, same thing. Not quite as nefarious, but quizzes and articles like headlines from the day you were born, or celebrities that came from your hometown, also collect more information than you really should be giving up. Protect yourselves. I always answer security questions with related joke answers, not the true answer. So even if someone KMOWs the street I grew up on, for example, that's not the answer I gave, it'll be a joke name I have for it that no one knows. Isn't it hard to keep track of your answers when you really need to give them the answer? No, because the joke answer is always related in some way to the real answer. Like an inside joke I have for that particular place or thing instead of its real name. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Most people I know haven't seen it, and it's way better than anyone would think at first glance. It's also impossible to explain, you just have to watch it. Young Frankenstein, Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail, Inglourious Bastards. One of the best things ever committed to film is the scene in which we meet the bear Jew. Heat. Groundhog Day, a lesser-known one for you all. Gattaca, old sci-fi movie, but if you have the patience, one of the most heartwarming and personable scripts you can ask for. Vistas for hopes and dreams, what every rom-com wish they could. Memento is a great mind-bender, but Gattaca will always have a special place in my heart. Sadly, it's not very well known. We watched it for science class in high school. Good movie and still very relevant in its premise, what with CRISPR and other advancements. Looking back, it has really great actors. 2. Fight Club. Good Will Hunting. Tombstone. Really good movie with an amazing cast, flew under the radar because the early 90s weren't exactly a heyday for westerns. Val Kilmer gave the performance of a lifetime. My favorite part is when Doc is really sick and one of his allies said, "Doc, what are you doing here? Helping Wyatt? Wyatt Earp is my friend." Hell, Doc, I got plenty of friends. Well, I do not paraphrasing. Obviously, that 80s-90s period he was just on fire. Iceman, Jim Morrison, Doc Holliday, everything he touched was gold. Interstellar. Soundtrack is a big reason why. The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Burbs. I miss Tom Hanks doing comedy. Him heaving the sardine pretzel into the newspaper. Idiocracy. I generally don't like watching depressing documentaries like that. Dead Poet Society. Easy. Spaceballs. Now you will see that evil will always triumph because good is dumb. Galaxy Quest. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Coming to America and Space Odyssey 2001. CTA is one of my favorite movies. I've seen it dozens of times and know almost all the lines. Also, Trading Places is my Christmas go-to movie. Eddie Murphy for the win. The Departed. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Tropic Thunder. Okay, fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face. Now I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia, Jack, is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you'd better think again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to head down there and I will rain down an ungodly fucking firestorm upon you. You're gonna have to call the fucking United Nations to get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from fucking destroying you. I am talking scorched earth. Motherfucker. I will massacre you. I will fuck you up. Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels in a Snatch. Two movies I love that always get blank stares when I tell people about them. Lucky Number 11. I still can't believe I missed it when it came out and it had to be recommended to me years later. Jaws. It's actually not that scary despite the reputation, and it's a great peek into the 1970s. Snatch and Fantastic Mr. Fox. Ghostbusters. Gone Girl. What a fucking ride. Moon. The themes of isolation and betrayal are perfect for a quarantine. Robin Hood. Men in Tights. Tremors, but it's often a hard sell. There's not a line or a scene out of place. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Contact. Jurassic Park. Nightcrawler. I think The Cabin in the Woods is worth a watch no matter where your preference in movies lies. The Producers. Yes, I can't hear the word springtime without my brain singing that song. LOL. The original with Gene Wilder and Ciro Mostel is awesome. Would recommend over the remake. The Big Short. Knives Out. My favorite movie is In Bruges, but it's very niche. 7 Psychopaths. Great one. I like In Bruges more, but both are awesome. Amelie. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Terminator 1 and 2. The Orphanage. It's in Spanish, but it's pretty awesome. Galaxy Quest _ The Producers _ 1967 _ A New Leaf _ Lord Love the Duck _ Galaxy Quest introduced me to Sam Rockwell. Is there air? You don't know. Sam Rockwell was such a treasure in Galaxy Quest, as was Alan Rickman. Such a great movie. Galaxy Quest is so underrated. Gladiator. The Pianist. Prince of Egypt. The Prestige. The Illusionist. Big Fish. It's probably my favorite movie ever. Girl Interrupted. Forrest Gump. It depends. If they're into serious movies, I say Silence of the Lambs. If they're gay like me, I say To Wong Fu. Thanks for Everything. Julie Newmar. If they like shitty movies, I say Cool World. It really depends on who I'm talking to. Though I think everyone on Earth should watch Young Frankenstein. I love To Wong Fu. Cool World was the greatest movie I watched when I was like 11. Brad Pitt and Kim Basinger were just damn if I knew what that was at 11. Rat Race. Rocky Horror Picture Show and the Boondock Saints. Fargo. The Hunt for Red October. This film is not yet rated. A documentary commenting on the MPAA, the organization in the U.S. that determines film rating. G, PG, PG-13, R, NC-17. Goes into the cultural reasons why certain films are rated the way they are and has interviews with other filmmakers discussing the rating and appeals process. The documentary itself is not rated by the MPAA and the film goes into this reason as well. It's an interesting movie if you're interested in the inner workings of the film industry and how, surprise, the whole system is rigged. Mad Max. Fury Road. It's hit or miss when recommending movies since people have different tastes. But I haven't met anyone who dislikes this masterpiece. Dear Zachary. Also, if you do watch it, it's kind of a real-time documentary, where you pick up halfway through and watch the story unfold. So it's best not to Google the story. You cannot recommend this movie without warning people it is dark as Buick. Army of Darkness. Fucking classic. Hail to the King, baby. Grave of the Fireflies. Remember the Titans. I'm a sucker for sports and underdog movies. A goofy movie. Baby Driver. The Game. The ending never ceases to surprise. Get Out. Green Mile for Sue or Batman The Dark Knight. It doesn't matter if you haven't seen the first one. It is such an amazing movie. Anastasia. Parasite. Seriously, it's probably the best movie I've seen in recent memory. Like I was literally at the edge of my seat for the entire second half of the movie. I always recommend Wrist Cutters. A love story. If you haven't seen it, please watch it all the way through. It's one of those movies where the whole time, you're thinking, why am I watching this? It's so depressing, but the ending just makes it so worth it. Knives Out. Django Unchained. The Warriors. Also Silence of the Lambs. The Ghost in the Darkness. Arrival. Harold and Maude. I'm not sure anyone has taken me up on it though. Everyone should watch Back to the Future. Donnie Darko. Napoleon Dynamite. The Count of Monte Cristo, Aladdin. It may sound childish, but Robin Williams' performance is incredible. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.